On May 24, 1963, at a top-secret runway carved into the Nevada desert, a place that didn't officially exist, a pilot named Kenneth Collins ejected from an aircraft traveling over Mach 3 and watched it disintegrate into the Utah wilderness below. 3 civilians witnessed the crash. The CIA reached them within hours. All 3 were silenced. The wreckage was buried. The pilot was given a cover story. And for over 3 decades, the U.S. government ensured you'd never hear a single word about it. This is the story of the A-12 OXCART, the fastest, highest-flying manned aircraft ever built at the time. A machine so secret that the men who flew it couldn't tell their own families what they did for a living. And there are parts of this story that still raise questions the government has never fully answered. It was born from paranoia, forged in secrecy, and flown by a dozen pilots who signed their identities away. It wasn't just a plane. It was the physical embodiment of America's Cold War obsession. See everything, be seen by no one. It was 1957. The Soviets had shot down a U-2 spy plane. The CIA realized one brutal truth: fly high enough and they'll still find you. They needed something that didn't just fly high, it had to fly fast. Fast enough that no missile on Earth could catch it. Lockheed's Skunk Works division, under the legendary Kelly Johnson, took the contract. The design brief was almost impossible. Cruise at Mach 3.2, above 80,000 feet, for thousands of miles, and leave no radar signature worth reading. What emerged was the A-12 OXCART, a titanium aircraft that burned so hot in flight the skin panels had to be built with deliberate gaps because the metal would expand nearly an inch at full speed. Area 51, then known only as the Ranch, became its home. Pilots were recruited from the Air Force's finest, stripped of their identities, and told the same thing: this program does not exist. Between 1962 and 1968, the A-12 shattered every performance record. It flew operational missions over North Vietnam and North Korea, returning intelligence the U.S. could get no other way. It photographed military installations in real time. It was, by every measure, a triumph of American engineering and espionage. And then, this is where everything went wrong. The crash of 1963 wasn't the only one. 3 A-12s were lost between 1963 and 1967. Each time, the CIA mobilized within hours, not to investigate safety, but to contain the story. One wreckage site was buried. Another pilot, Jack W. Weeks, vanished over the Pacific in 1967. No wreckage was ever found. No explanation was ever given. What's remarkable about this is the scale of institutional silence. Families of deceased pilots received cover stories. Death certificates listed fake causes. These men died for a program the government refused to acknowledge, and their families lived with manufactured grief for decades. By 1968, the A-12 was quietly retired, officially replaced by the SR-31 Blackbird, a derivative aircraft built for the Air Force. The CIA's role in the skies was finished. The surviving A-12s were sealed in hangars and classified beyond reach. The program wasn't declassified until 2007. Pilots finally spoke publicly, some for the first time in over 40 years. Families learned the truth. monuments were built. But several questions about lost aircraft, missing pilots, and buried crash sites have never been fully resolved by official channels. And here's what still doesn't add up. Jack Weeks disappeared over the Pacific on June 5, 1967. The U.S. Navy searched briefly, then it stopped. No investigation report was made public, no wreckage, no pilot, just silence. What it tells us about that era of American military aviation is this: the aircraft were extraordinary. The institutional secrecy around them was just as extraordinary and far less heroic. 1. The A-12 OXCART was the direct ancestor of every stealth and high-speed reconnaissance program that followed. Its engineering legacy is still classified in parts. 2. The pilots who flew it gave up more than their safety. They gave up their identities, their ability to grieve openly, and in some cases, their family's right to the truth. 3. When governments classify human loss alongside technology, accountability disappears and it may never fully return. The A-12 proved that America could build a machine no enemy could touch. What it couldn't build was a system honest enough to face what that machine cost. If you made it this far, you already know this kind of history matters. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.